Now on Sunrise, the jury has been selected. Now the two men charged with the disappearance and murder of Crystal Rogers will officially go on trial. What's expected in court today? The search for a missing Louisville teenager will continue this morning. His family desperately hoping he will come home. Hear their emotional plea this morning. And big updates from JCPS, not only about their new headquarters, but some changes to their transportation plan. We'll break down what families need to know. Sunrise at 6 starts right now.
Now, Wave News Sunrise.
Good morning and happy Wednesday. Thanks for starting your day with us here on Sunrise. I'm Olivia Russell with meteorologist Tawana Andrew, and we keep saying, here's your forecast, it's hot.
Yeah, I feel like Mother Nature left the oven on and just left the house and forgot about us. And that's literally how it feels.
Turn down even at night. Come on.
It's like, come on, man. Someone let her know. Someone let her know. But yeah, it's going to be another hot and humid day. That is for sure. As we continue to keep an eye on those temperatures, we still have not dropped below 80 degrees in Louisville. Now, we still have some time before the sun officially comes up, so we can still see a little bit of a cool down there. But for everybody else, in the low to mid 70s to start the day. The heat advisory in place for every single one of us for today as well. Looking ahead to the next 12 hours, we'll be back into the 90s for your highs at heat index near 105 degrees. So not much change from the forecast that we had yesterday, but at least it is gorgeous outside right now. This beautiful SkyTrack camera shot with the sunrise showing up this morning. A beautiful start to the day, that's for sure. We'll add in some clouds for later on this afternoon, and there remains that potential for a few isolated downpours this afternoon and evening. Not everyone will see that rain, but for those of you that do, it certainly will help to cool you down. As we look ahead, the heat not going anywhere for the rest of the work week. Let you know when we'll see more rain and some highs back down into the 80s in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Tawana. Opening statements for the second Crystal Rogers murder trial will happen later today. It's a day the Bardstown community has been waiting for 10 years. Wave News reporter Marissa Burke has more on the first day of the trial and what we can expect in the days ahead. Marissa?
Olivia, today is the big day. Tuesday consisted of picking the jurors, and as many can imagine, it was a very selective process. The Commonwealth Attorney's Office and the defense teams started with a potential pool of 132. The jurors were broken up into several groups. Jurors filled out a questionnaire about how much they already knew about the Crystal Rogers case. Choices range from no knowledge with no opinions on the case to knowledge with opinions. There were some who were honest and admitted they have formed their own opinions. The pool of 132 potential jurors now narrowed down to 12 with 3 alternates. We asked our legal expert, how do families like Crystal's mentally process for trials like this?
Even if they win with a guilty verdict for people they think committed crimes, there's some immediate relief, but they still have to deal with a lifetime of loss. So I think they feel obligated that they have to be here. They're being here for Crystal. They're finding some strength with other family members. But at the end of the day, it's painful.
This trial could last 10 days. Today's opening statements are scheduled to begin at 8:30 Central Time, which is 9:30 Louisville time. In the next half hour, I'll tell you what differences we may see from Steve Lawson's trial. Marissa Burke, Wave News.
Marissa, thank you. And we will continue to have full coverage of the trial live from Bowling Green. We have extensive coverage of the players in the Crystal Rogers case up on our website, wave3.com. And remember, there are no cameras allowed in court, but we do have a team there in Bowling Green who will give us updates. Crews will continue to search the Ohio River for a teenage boy this morning. He was last seen near the Greenwood boat ramp Monday night. The family of 13-year-old Derek Saunders Jr. tells us he was at the ramp with friends when the current swept them away. His friends were able to get back, but Derek was not. His family says Derek was a good kid who doesn't go outside a lot. LMPD's River Unit and Dive Team took control of the search yesterday and looked for signs of Derek in the Otter Creek area. The teen's family is still staying positive.
I'm looking at this situation as castaway, so I'm going to stay positive until I know what is actually going on. So I'm just looking at things on the bright side like that.
LMPD's River Unit and Dive Team wrapped up the search for Saunders late last night. They're expected to continue searching in the Otter Creek area downriver around 9 o'clock this morning.
it was high time, and one of the biggest audit recommendations, that we modernize the software on how we route buses.
JCPS says it has successfully started the transition to new bus routing software. JCPS says it picked the new company because it has a long history of success. The district chose Traversa after a 16-month search. Traversa has been in operation since 1984. More than 1,100 districts have used it. Transportation leaders say they talked with school systems that are using the software now and have used it in the past so they could learn of any issues. They also told the school board that the department will do a soft rollout of Traversa to avoid any potential transportation disasters like what happened in August of 2023.
So this next year, all we are routing using that software is summer school and our ECE population. We already hand route most of ECE population, but putting it into the system gives us an idea to make sure that we're using it correctly for an entire year. I will not allow it to touch regular education for a full calendar year, and that my routing team is confident that they know how to use it and implement it without any issues.
The Traversa software should be in use for the entire district for the 2026 to 2027 school year. JCPS leaders have agreed upon a new location for its headquarters. On Tuesday, the district approved the donation of Yum Brand's Louisville campus on Gardner Lane. Leaders say the gift gives them flexibility to better use money they won't have to spend on a new headquarters. Public dollars the district would have spent on a new building can now be put to use on other things, including suggestions of new schools, improvements to aging buildings, teacher pay, and more. One board member says the community and the budget deficit were on their minds when making the decision.
We need to do what we can that's best for the taxpayer dollars, and I don't think any of us could look our constituents in the eye and said, you know what, we chose to spend more of your money when we could have spent none of it.
He says while there's no concrete timeline on the move, timing is still important. He expects the move to happen roughly within a year, but the exact logistics still need to be worked out. President Donald Trump is calling victory for the ceasefire deal that was reached between Israel and Iran, but new reports suggest that the U.S. airstrikes on Iran's major nuclear sites were not as effective as Trump claimed. According to 3 people with knowledge of the initial assessment, the strikes only set Iran's nuclear program back by 3 to 6 months. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said the reporting on the intelligence assessment is inaccurate. At last check, neither country has fired at each other in hours. Just before the ceasefire took effect, though, Iran reportedly fired off missiles at Israel, hitting an apartment building, killing some residents. Israel then retaliated. Trump lashed out at both countries, saying that each violated the ceasefire.
We basically have 2 countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what they're doing.
The president says the ceasefire is still on following a phone call with Israel's prime minister. The rising tensions between Iran and Israel is hitting close to home for many people. We talked with a Louisville man who was originally from Tehran. He immigrated to the U.S. when he was an 18-year-old student back in 1977. He planned to return home, but instead found a home here and started a family in Louisville. He says he still has family overseas.
My family they are very insecure, and there is no telling what is going to happen. So that uncertainty, it brings a lot of tension to the people of Iran, where they were already tense and pressured because of the sanctions and all the economic pressures that is on them.
He says he just visited with his family in Iran in April before the conflict started. He says the Iranian people do not want this war. Kentucky will have several new laws take effect in just a few days. That includes House Bill 4, which prevents colleges and universities from spending money on diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives and eliminates all DEI offices and positions. Senate Bill 181 requires school boards to establish a traceable communication system for messaging between staff, students, and parents. House Bill 208 requires school boards to create policies that ban the use of cell phones in classrooms. And Senate Bill 73 creates tougher penalties for sextortion, including more severe charges when it involves a minor. And today, lawmakers will be holding a press conference about bills that were passed during this year's legislative session, including laws either already in effect or the ones set to begin on Friday. We'll have a list of the new bills on wave3.com. Well, as we know, today will be another hot one with heat advisories making us all sweat it out. And now LG&E and KU are asking customers to conserve energy. LG&E and KU say conserving energy where you can helps prevent a strain on the grid. That means using less power so more can be used to keep apartments cool and everything running smooth. Some tips from officials include turning off unnecessary lights and appliances, use an outdoor grill instead of the oven, raise your thermostat to the highest comfortable setting, move furniture away from vents to increase airflow, and keep your shades closed for easier cooling. Some of those could also help lower your bill as well. And during these blistering temperatures, outreach workers for Louisville Metro Homeless Services are providing water to people around the city. They're driving their new water trailer around Louisville. Metro leaders say it holds almost 1,000 12-ounce containers of water. They say it's important to be there for the community.
Going to where someone is, right? It's meeting them where they're at. That's always been our goal, is to go where the folks are, not necessarily have folks come to us, but go to where they're at.
Metro Homeless Services is planning on taking the trailer across the city while continuing to connect people with their routine services. Here's Tawana taking a look at that heat that we're experiencing.
Yeah, we'll see more of those 90s for highs. The heat index near 105. So yes, another hot, humid, summer-like day. But we're technically supposed to be dealing with 80s for highs at this time of the year. I'll let you know when we'll see our highs returning to that level after the break.
All right, thanks, Tawana. It's 6:10 on your Wednesday morning. We already know sunscreen is a non-negotiable part of a daily routine, but what else could you be doing that could hurt or help your skin? We focus on skincare in the summer ahead. And this morning, the Louisville Fire Department is hiring. They're looking for their next class of recruits. We'll show you what it takes to go through that physical test this morning. Kirsten Foote is live there giving us a look. And as you're heading out the door right now, traffic looking good. Not seeing any issues out there. Everything looking fantastic. Might need to break out those sunglasses, though, and crank up the AC. Right now, the Louisville Fire Department is looking for its next round of future firefighters. Applications are open, and just one of the components is the physical test. Wave News reporter Kirsten Foote is live at the LFD training facility to give us a behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to become a firefighter. And hey, you already look the part, Kirsten.
Hey, I'm ready. I'm coming in, Olivia. Almost. Back here at Donovan Sims at the Louisville Fire Academy. And like you said, the physical test is a huge component. And so we're doing it. We're going to show people what it looks like.
Our physical agility test is probably one of the hardest in the region. It's really tough, but it's a good standard to make sure you can do the job right. You can protect the city. Again, but that's also why we offer those 9 open practice days for anybody. It's an application process. You know, once you apply, you can get down here and start testing yourself, seeing where you are, and make sure you can do it, right?
Heck yeah.
You don't have to waste any time. You got that YouTube video on our links on that website. You can look at that YouTube video, and it shows you the whole course. But, you know, before you even run the course, there's other areas, things you got to do. You got to raise some ladders. You got to hook into a hydrant. You got to show you can do some of those firefighter skills.
Yeah, so let's show it right here. What do we have going on?
So one of these steps are just raising a ladder and making sure that you can get it up to the wall. You have about 16 seconds to complete this task. It's not really too strenuous, but it is a heavy ladder, right? And then you come over here to the ladder hoist, where you're just simulating like hoisting a splice ladder. You know, a lot of the areas that we get to are 2, 3, 4 stories high, where you got to get those bigger ladders that you kind of got to hoist up to get there.
And you got to be fast. You got to be efficient. So it's a physical test, but it's also just mental, because you really got to be, doing that.
So you're doing that, and then the last thing you do before you can actually run our course is dealing with the fire hydrant.
All right, so we're over here at the fire hydrant.
Yeah, and this kind of trips people up.
Okay.
You want to get down here before you practice this. You got to...
God, tightness. Oh, no.
So you got to tie your helmet. So you got to take your caps off.
We talked about this.
We did.
All right.
You got to connect your hose connections. You got to make sure it's on there right.
Yeah. This is harder than it looks, y'all.
Yes, it is, and that's why you come down and use those non-practice days to utilize those days to really hone your skills and make sure you're doing it right.
Am I doing it? Am I doing it? Hey, we're fighting fires this morning. Oh, man.
No, right here.
Oh, right here?
Open it up.
Oh, we got to open it.
Actually try.
Oh, man.
Give it a couple spins there. Come on.
Am I doing it the wrong way?
No. You're almost there.
Oh, no.
Here we go. There we go.
Oh gosh, guys, you guys can do this if you want to. I don't know. Oh man, look at that. All right, so this is what it takes to be a Louisville firefighter.
It is one of the steps. You got to tighten the helmet up.
I got to tighten the helmet. This isn't really how we wear this. Did I pass? Did I make it?
We might have to run you through again.
Oh man, guys. If anyone wants to sign up, how can they learn more?
Hey, LouisvilleKY.gov/government/fire. Click on that Become a Firefighter link.
Heck yeah. All right, so I'm going to double up. Morning reporter, firefighter Olivia, back to you.
Actually, maybe just stick with morning reporter. But hey, A for effort. Thank you so much. It was funny watching her. You could see she was trying to keep the helmet on. She is having too much fun out there too. But hey, hopefully she can get that hydrant open because water.
Yes,
water.
You're gonna need to hydrate today. But hey, she looked cute doing it. Doesn't matter sometimes. It was great. For those of you heading out this morning, just keep in mind that we are going to be dealing with more of that heat, humidity again to start off the day. While most of us are waking up to temperatures in the low to mid 70s, it's still 81 degrees in Louisville with a heat index of 86. It's 6:17 in the morning, y'all. So that kind of shows you how things are going to go as the day continues. A heat advisory in place for all of us, and that is going to go until this evening for most locations. But for those of you in Lawrence, Jackson, and Jennings County, it does go through tomorrow evening. Now, keep in mind, this heat advisory could easily be extended. But this is the beautiful sunrise that we're seeing right now on our SkyTrack camera in New Albany. A gorgeous start to the day, that is for sure. We're also watching a few of those clouds overhead, just like what we saw in that SkyTrack shot. But most of us starting off the day with clear skies. Plenty of sunshine for today and for the rest of the week as high pressure remains fully in control. This is why areas off towards our west and north are dealing with rounds of storms, while we have been mainly dry, I should say, over the past few days. Now, what we're going to be looking at as we get into later on this afternoon, those temperatures are turning to the 90s for your highs with that heat index near 100 degrees. A couple of isolated downpours are possible as we head into the afternoon and evening. Keep in mind, these are not going to move a whole lot as they push through later on today. They can produce some locally heavy rain, and once that rain stops, if you're heading outside, you're going to feel that additional humidity. So that's something else I want to make sure that I mention. Once we get into later on tonight, anything that pops this afternoon will quickly fade, and we'll watch temperatures falling down into the 70s for your lows. So, by the way, for those of you heading out to Waterfront Wednesday today, the weather is going to be quite hot and humid for that. But another great thing that you can take part in for today, by the way, is an amazing blood drive. You can check out the storm tracker that's going to be for today at Oxmoor Ford. That's going to be from noon until 6 p.m. And you can sign up, of course, and reserve your spot at redcross.org. And make sure you help out your community in that way. Once we get into tomorrow, more of that heat, more of that humidity in our forecast. Same thing for your Friday. Now, once we head into Saturday, this is when rain chances will start to go up a little bit more across the region as that heat breaks down across the eastern seaboard. So rain chances going up from not just Saturday, but into Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of next week. On Monday and Tuesday, we'll have a cold front moving through the area, so keep an eye on the strength of some of those storms. Highs for the weekend in the upper 80s and low 90s. Next week, we do see a bit of a cool down and some lower humidity next Wednesday. It does not last long, though. By July 4th, we'll see those highs back into the low 90s, plenty of sunshine with isolated rain chances.
Here's a look at the current Kentucky Lottery jackpots. The Kentucky Lottery, funding education for over 1 million Kentucky students.
Between the heat and humidity, the weather can be rough on our skin, but there are ways to prevent that. For starters, do an inventory on your current skincare products because not everything may be suitable for summer. So what products are best to use in the summer? Dermatologist Dr. Shilpi Khattarpal says sunscreen is #1. It should be broad spectrum and have an SPF of 30 or higher. And don't forget to reapply every 2 hours, especially if you're spending time outside. Since you're using sunscreen, Dr. Khattarpal says you typically don't need to use moisturizer, but if you want to, make sure it's on the lighter side and applied only once a day. Aside from that, you should also wash your face with a gentle cleanser, and when you're done, you could also apply an antioxidant serum.
There's a lot of other things in the environment that can affect our skin. Pollution can cause like dullness, pigmentation. So that's where antioxidants can play a role. Those are topically applied, vitamin C, vitamin E, ferulic acid. So if someone wanted to incorporate an antioxidant, they would wash their face in the morning, pat dry, apply the antioxidant serum. There's many that are over the counter that work.
She also says if you notice your skin isn't improving with time or if it gets worse, you should talk to a dermatologist. And Tawana, we keep saying sunscreen and then water is actually incredibly good for your skin, good for hydration, especially with this heat right now.
And just keep that in mind for your pets too, especially if they have to stay outside. Make sure they have cool water to drink because this heat is not going anywhere as we get towards the end of the week. So for today, tomorrow, and Friday, we'll see a mix of sun and clouds across the area, isolated rain chances, heat index over 100 degrees, and those actual highs in the 90s. So it is going to be a continuation of the heat wave. Once we get into the weekend, this is when rain chances start to go up. But for a lot of us, they're still pretty scattered. So we'll keep an eye on that for your weekend plans and into the beginning of next week. It does look like a cold front will try to move our way Monday into Tuesday of next week, bringing more thunderstorms in our forecast. And behind that front, we do cool down and we do even see humidity trying to drop as we get towards next Wednesday. But honestly, as soon as we get towards Thursday and then July 4th, we'll watch for the humidity and temperatures both increasing across wave country.
Now we'll enjoy the relief while we have it, I guess. Thanks, Tawana. With millions of people expected to travel for a holiday next week, some are still looking for answers from federal officials about recent flight issues. The National Transportation Safety Board has revealed the probable cause of the mid-air door plug blowout on the Boeing 737 MAX last year. The NTSB says Boeing, its supplier, Spirit AeroSystems, and the Federal Aviation Administration are all to blame. The blowout left a gaping hole in the side of the plane as it was more than 16,000 feet in the air. The agency's chair says Boeing and the FAA should have spotted the safety deficiencies that led to the accident. The full report will be available in a few weeks. Projections for travel keep getting higher. Nearly 19 million Americans are expected to fly for Independence Day. The TSA says it's staffed to screen 18.5 million travelers from July 1st through the 7th. The Sunday after the holiday is projected to be the busiest day with an estimated 2.9 million travelers. The TSA is preparing for families to make up a big portion of those flying for the holiday. The agency reminds parents of children 12 and under may need to accompany a TSA pre-check enrollment parent or a guardian. It's 6:27 now. Coming up on Sunrise, one of the most anticipated trials in Kentucky officially begins today. We're bringing you live coverage all day of the trial in the death of Crystal Rogers, and this morning we'll tell you where things stand ahead of opening statements.
Now, Wave News Sunrise.
All right, so many people excited about this. Banana Ball will once again be taking over Louisville this week. With their visit comes some downtown road closures to look out for, so please be aware of this. The Party Animals will be in town tomorrow through Saturday night for their 3-game series. So Preston Street, River Road, Main Street, and others around Sugarfield will be closed from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. each day. That's because they'll have a big party out there that you don't want to miss out on. Banana Ball is known for their fun and unique tricks during their game. It includes choreographed dances, some scoring celebrations, and quirky rules designed to speed up play, like if you catch a foul ball in the stands, in the air, that's an out.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so bring your glove to a game.
Might as well, and also a hat. A hat and sunscreen.
And water and everything you can to try to cool down. I feel bad for those players out there, too. Luckily, I'm sure they have plenty of fans in the dugout, too, keeping them cool.
Literal fans or like...
Fans in the stands, fans in the dugout, lots of fans out there, too. So, yeah.
Hey, they're going to be having a grand old time. I just feel for them in terms of the heat, though. But, hey, everybody just make sure you're hydrated. Make sure you're staying as cool as possible as well. That heat advisory is still in effect for everyone for today. We're mainly sitting in the low to mid 70s again this morning. We still have not dropped below 80 degrees at the airport in Louisville. So, yeah, it's another one of those mornings, that's for sure. We're mainly in that either sticky or miserable category across the region to start off the day, and that's where we're going to stay even as we head into the afternoon. But at least it's pretty outside. We have this gorgeous sunrise showing up on our SkyTrack camera as we're looking towards the southeast from New Albany. A couple of clouds overhead, and we'll add in a few more for later on this afternoon, but that sunshine will do its thing, taking us into the 90s for your highs later on today. We'll watch for a couple of those afternoon and evening pop-up storms that can produce some locally heavy rain, so we'll watch for that. And once we get past sunset, any rain that we'll have across the area will quickly fade. Now, in terms of that heat index for this afternoon, back to near 105 degrees again, but we are going to be watching for some relief coming our way just in time for the upcoming weekend, but that relief comes with some rain, so I'll talk about that in just a bit. Olivia.
All right, thanks, Tawana. The first day of the Brooks, Houck, and Joseph Lawson trial consisted of attorneys picking who they believe will be impartial jurors. Now that final 12 and 3 alternates have been selected. Opening statements will begin later on this morning. And Wave News reporter Marissa Berg joining us now to tell us what we could see as this trial continues. Marissa?
Olivia, this trial could last 10 days, and that's with 2 defense attorneys making motions and calling on witnesses for their clients. As for the prosecution, their witness list could look slightly similar to what we saw during Steve Lawson's trial. Our legal expert says witness lists can change, and we may see some of the same faces from the first trial. Jury selections took up the whole first day of trial. Attorneys were very selective about making sure jurors didn't already form opinions about the case. That's also one of the reasons why the case is being tried in Warren County. Many people have been wanting and waiting for answers about Crystal Rogers' disappearance for a decade. Our legal expert says there are an influx of emotions when new details come out in court.
I do think for families having some knowledge helps, because there's so many unanswered questions for so many years, and you always see a family having some hope when there's a missing person that person will be found. Well, the same instance here, they know the person is deceased, but there's the hope for more answers, and hopefully they get some.
Today's opening statements are scheduled to begin at 8:30 Central Time, which is 9:30 Louisville time. Our legal expert also explained, despite whatever the outcome of this trial may be, the Rogers family is still facing a lifetime of loss. Both defendants have maintained their innocence. Marissa Burke, Wave News.
Marissa, thank you. LMPD says human error is the reason for a fiery semi-crash that shut down I-65 for most of the day earlier this month. LMPD said in its report that the driver didn't have the truck under control. The semi was heading into Kentucky from Indiana on 65 southbound. It was changing lanes when the driver hit a concrete barrier. That impact caused the semi to catch fire and left it dangling over Spaghetti Junction. The driver was able to jump out and survive the crash, but minutes later, that flaming semi-trailer dropped onto a ramp below. The report notes that it was raining at the time and the interstate was wet. A Louisville man charged with killing a 15-year-old girl in January of 2024 is waiting on a competency evaluation before heading to trial. Adrian King is charged with murder, domestic violence, and sexual misconduct, among other charges. King is accused of shooting and killing Dovia Purnell on January 29, 2024, outside of an apartment building in Park Duval. Court documents say Purnell and King were in a relationship. Yesterday's court appearance was short as the court awaits a competency evaluation for King to stand trial. Here's what his attorney had to say regarding the status of the evaluation.
I will also reach out to KCPC. I have received a letter from them confirming at least the receipt of the court's order requesting the evaluation in the first place. So he should be in line. It's just because of the nature of the allegations against Mr. King that tends to slow down the process at KCPC.
A new hearing ahead of his trial is scheduled for August. It took dozens of firefighters to put out the flames of an empty house fire. That happened just after 11 o'clock Monday night on Beecher Street in the Wyandotte neighborhood. No one was inside the home at the time of the fire. The Louisville Fire Department says the home was boarded up and had hoarder-like conditions that made it hard to put out the fire. They say it started in the back of the home on the first floor and extended to the second floor and attic. No injuries were reported. The cause of that fire is under investigation. Elizabethtown police are working to help victims of abuse and crime. The department says it's partnering with the national organization 911 Bank. The idea is to provide emergency communication devices to crime victims. The devices are used to make 911 emergency calls. Donations can include cell phones, tablets, and similar electronics. Anyone interested in donating a device can drop it off at the Elizabethtown Police Department. Turning to Frankfort, where a Kentucky senator is planning to reintroduce a bill regarding a coroner's ability to cremate. Right now, if a person who is low income dies and the family can't be contacted, the coroner or a fiscal court will bury them. There's no current option to cremate them. The bill aims to give officials and families who are contacted that option.
There was a fiscal impact statement done, and it did say that almost all cases cremation is cheaper. So if the fiscal courts should choose to cremate a body, it will be cheaper or allow them less expense than if they should have to bury it.
The bill made it to the House floor last year, but the senators said they ran out of time to push it through. Here's Tawana taking us through the next 12 hours, which is hot.
Yes, basically. We'll be back into the 90s for your highs later on this afternoon. You'll need the sunglasses, a T-shirt, and, of course, a water bottle to stay hydrated. On a day like today, extra deodorant probably wouldn't hurt either. We're going to be talking about that heat, not just for today, but for the rest of the week. I'll break down a little bit more about what we're going to see in terms of that heat and talk about some rain chances for the weekend on the other side of the break.
All right, thank you, Tawana. And those sunglasses definitely going to be needed for your morning commute. Everything looking good, though. Shouldn't slow you down out there. Just be aware of that sunny sky. Louisville firefighters are busy responding to more than 50,000 calls a year, and now the Louisville Fire Department is looking for its next class of recruits. Wave News reporter Kirsten Foote is joining us live this morning, still working hard to make it into that recruiting class. Kirsten, how's your training going?
Olivia, I'm trying my hardest to make it into that class, Donovan. I've been slowly adding more gear, and it's heavy. It's hard to be a firefighter. It's
you don't even have the pack
physical.
on.
I don't even have the pack on. I don't know if I'm going to make it or not. Donovan, it takes a lot to be a firefighter, mental, but also physical. So just kind of tell me about that test. We showed a little some technique stuff, but there's a physical test.
We showed some of the technique stuff. Again, like I said, our physical agility test is very hard, but it's a standard that we have to keep to make sure we're getting the right quality of firefighters here for the city of Louisville.
Yeah.
And so after you pass those steps, you have the actual course. That's what we just call it, the course, where you run up 7 flights of stairs carrying 60 pounds of hose. You run down and you put 80 pounds of hose on your back and run through some cones. You run up a 5-flight fire escape, and then back up those stairs again.
Wow.
And it's pretty tough. Competitive times are like right in the 7-8 minute range. The course record is 5 minutes and 32 seconds, but don't be discouraged. A passing time is anything under 11 minutes. And so, but again, it's really imperative that you come down and do those 9 practice days.
Yeah.
Right? The more you run the course, the more comfortable you get with it.
So let's show some of what we have going on here. So we have
right here, right away, we got a recruit going up the stairs. This is that first step where you run up. And, you're going to take that hose up 7 flights of stairs. There's a bell up there that you're going to ring.
Oh, man, that's 60 pounds of gear, right?
Bring that down, and you're going to go ahead and run to the fire escape out here. You're going to run up, as you can see right here, there's 5 stories.
Wow.
It's straight up. It's pretty intensive. You're going to feel that. You got to do that twice.
Oh, my gosh.
In the process of running this course. And then you're going to, you got to come down here. I talked about those cones.
Yeah.
You're going to run down the hill and go towards those cones. You're going to put another 80 pounds on your back here. You're going to weave out. But like I said, these guys in this recruit class that do this maybe once a week, if not twice a week. Like they're in great shape to do this.
Right. And you really prepare them. You really set them up for success with this. Yeah.
And that's why I said, and that's why in that hiring process we offer all those days. You really want to take advantage of those. You don't want to be someone who comes down once or twice and is like, oh, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
I work out a lot. Oh, I go to the gym. I run miles, whatever. Like, no. So the thing that's going to get you better at running our course is showing up and running the course.
Right. And so applications, when do they close for people who need to know?
They close July 4th, the holiday, at 11:59. So again, don't waste time. Go to louisvilleky.gov/government/fire and get that application in now.
Yeah, it's a great time. I mean, got a current recruiting class going on right now, but you're already setting up for the next ones.
We're always ready to lock and load, ready to get the next ones in.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me this morning, Donovan. I really appreciate it. I think did I pass the test today? Did I pass?
You passed the look test.
Okay. Hey, that's it. I'll just be the encouragement. I'll just be like the cheerleader. All right, Olivia, back to you.
Thank you, Kirsten. Yeah, giddy up. Get on up those stairs right now. Get to training. Glad you had fun this morning.
Off I go.
Well, speaking of firefighters, some dramatic moments, including the rescue of a baby caught on camera after an explosion and a fire at an apartment building in Cleveland, Ohio. Fire crews are still trying to figure out what caused the explosion that forced all of this to happen. A raging fire and thick billowing smoke forcing this mother to toss her baby out of a window into the waiting arms of some Good Samaritans who caught the child. In all, 5 people were seriously hurt, 3 adults and 2 children. They were rushed to the hospital for treatment. More than 40 units were destroyed, but it all could have been a lot worse if people hadn't stepped in to help out.
I just seen a lot of sadness, but it also showed me a lesson to come close with your family and hold your family and make sure you do the right thing by people.
A scary moment there, but more than 100 residents were forced out of their apartments. Thankfully, the American Red Cross has stepped up to help out, but amazing on them to do the right thing there and help, especially that baby being tossed out of a window.
Yeah, just that you never know what may happen, and I love seeing the community coming together like that in situations like that. So absolutely adore that. And our firefighters will also be working very hard for today, but unfortunately they have to deal with a lot of heat again. I'll let you know when we'll all get some relief in just 30 seconds. Good morning, everyone. Meteorologist Tawana Andrew here with a check of your forecast. We are continuing to keep an eye on that beautiful sun now beaming down on us. Now, while it looks gorgeous, it's going to really heat things up as the day goes along. So we'll enjoy this beautiful sunrise in our SkyTrack camera as we have that going on right now. Our temperatures are in the low to mid 70s in most spots, except for the airport in Louisville, where it's currently still 81 degrees. It's also 81 degrees here at Wave News downtown, so we're still watching that urban heat island effect going on still this morning. It is 74 for those of you in Floyd's Knobs, 73 in Simpsonville, and 76 degrees in Fairdale. By the way, yes, it's still very humid out there. And because of all of this, we have the heat advisory that lasts into this evening for most of us. But then for those of you in Jackson, Lawrence, and Jennings counties, it goes until tomorrow evening. I would not be surprised if they extended the heat advisory for everyone through tomorrow, too. As of right now, we're just watching a couple of clouds overhead. No rain in the area to speak of as of right now. But once we get into the afternoon, a few isolated downpours certainly will be possible. That area of high pressure still sitting over the eastern half of the country. This is why that heat is something that not only we are dealing with, but the majority of the eastern seaboard dealing with that heat again for today. Now, once we get into the afternoon, we are going to climb back into the mid-90s for your highs, but feeling like closer to 105 degrees. So another hot and humid day. A choice few of us, a lucky few, will get an isolated downpour. We see that chance going up after about 4 p.m. this afternoon. Going to keep that around through the evening hours, and once the sun goes down, any storms we have across the area will quickly fade. These can easily produce heavy rain, by the way, because we just have so much moisture in the air as of right now. Once we get into tonight, we'll see a few clouds overhead still, dropping right back down into the 70s for your lows. Looking ahead to the next 10 days, here's what we have going on. More of that heat sticking around for your Thursday and again on Friday, so not much change there. But once we head into the weekend, this is when that giant heat bubble finally starts to break down. And this is why we're going to be watching those rain chances going up for your Saturday and Sunday. Now, for those 2 days, it's mainly scattered thunderstorms that we're looking at. But on Monday, this is when a cold front starts to move in. This will bring more widespread storms into our region. We'll keep an eye on that rain chance lingering into your Tuesday, by the way. Notice for the weekend into beginning of next week, we'll see those highs in the upper 80s and low 90s. Now, our one pretty decent day will be next Wednesday. For those of you who don't like the intense heat, this is when we'll see those highs in the 80s and even some lower humidity. But by July 4th, more of those 90s coming our way as we keep an isolated rain chance in the forecast then.
All right. Thanks, Tawana. The U.S. Postal Service says it has a plan in place after multiple audits found delayed mail all over the city, but customers are still reporting problems. Paul Bryant says he got a speeding ticket on I-65 back in January. A judge sentenced him to traffic school for pleading guilty in April. Bryant got a state letter accepting him on May 11th. He says he mailed a money order the very next day, but now, more than 40 days later, he says his money order still hasn't been cashed or received. So now his license is no good, leaving Bryant out of work as a driver, while he says he's getting no help from the state.
My bills are still coming. You know, I got rent due, LG&E and water. They like pimps. They want their money right then and there. They cut you out.
Bryant says he's called Frankfurt 4 times. The only solution he's been given is to pay another $15 plus $40 to reinstate his license. The Wave troubleshooters asked the Transportation Cabinet if it had received Bryant's letter, but we didn't hear back. Now we'll look at the big stories we're following today around the country and the world. The Senate could vote this week on President Donald Trump's sweeping domestic policy legislation. President Trump calls it his big, beautiful bill, but Democrats say there's nothing beautiful about it. GOP leaders are scrambling to secure enough support. The bill would also extend trillions of dollars in tax cuts and raise the debt ceiling. Florida has a new plan in motion to house detained migrants along a little-used airstrip in the Everglades. Construction has just begun on what the Florida AG calls Alligator Alcatraz. The new facility is expected to open next month. Environmental advocacy groups have criticized the plan. We'll be right back with more Sunrise, including your Wake Up Watch List, right after this. It's 6:54. We're following all of your top stories in today's Wake Up Watch List. Opening statements for the second Crystal Rogers murder trial will happen later today, this time with Brooks Houck and Joseph Lawson facing charges. It's a day the Bardstown community has been waiting for 10 years. Today's opening statements are scheduled to begin at 8:30 Central Time, which is 9:30 Eastern Time. Crews will continue to search the Ohio River for a teenage boy this morning. The family of 13-year-old Derek Saunders Jr. tells us he was at the Greenwood boat ramp with friends when the current swept them away. LMPD's River Unit and dive team are expected to continue searching around 9 o'clock this morning. Dozens of companies will be at an upcoming job fair here in Louisville today. There are more than 500 job openings across multiple industries. The job fair is today from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It'll be hosted at L&N Federal Credit Union Stadium. You can pre-register online at jobnewslouisville.com. And here's Tawana taking us through that hot forecast.
Yeah, we're still at 81 degrees in Louisville, so we haven't dropped below that 80-degree mark yet. But the rest of us sitting in the 70s this morning. We have the heat advisory in effect throughout the day today for the majority of our region. We'll also keep a close eye on that sun just beaming down. Plenty of it in the forecast for today. We'll add in some clouds for this afternoon as temperatures climb into the 90s yet again with that heat index over 100 degrees. Once we head into this afternoon as well, we'll watch for a couple of isolated downpours, but as soon as that sun goes down, we'll watch those quickly fading as well. So just like what we've seen over the past couple of days, 1 or 2 downpours around for the afternoon. We'll dry out overnight, and we'll repeat the same thing for your Thursday and Friday. Once we get into the weekend, rain chances go up for everyone as we see the heat really just breaking down across the area, and we'll watch for more rain chances for next Monday and Tuesday.
Right now, roads looking good. Not seeing any issues popping up on our traffic map. Everything looks like it's all green, good to go. Even on 65 northbound right now, looking fabulous. And make sure you have those sunglasses packed, Tawana. We also added deodorant to the list. For some reason, I feel like we have to remind people sometimes.
Extra sweat. Go ahead and do it. And also, one big thing for today, happy birthday, Brian Good.
Happy birthday, Brian Good. All right, thanks so much for joining us. Have a great day.
Get live streaming news, 24-hour weather, investigations, podcasts, and more, all for free with Wave Now.